If successful, could this be the Amazon killer, AWS killer?
Yeah.
This could be massive. Today I want to share with you a really interesting innovation called Autonomi, aiming to be the next evolution in data storage. So decentralized, perpetual, meaning forever, and private.
And what's great is nobody will own it. Everybody will own it. And the bigger it is, the more we all win.
So in a nutshell, and how they describe themselves, the web as it should be, powered by you. Autonomi is a network that provides users with a distributed, decentralized, and encrypted foundation layer of the internet. It's the perfect base for users who want ownership of their content. And with the rise of robotics and AI, with the continuation of big tech owning our data, controlling our data, governments owning our data, controlling our data, something like Autonomi is so needed. Friend of the channel and CEO of Autonomi, Bucks, explains.
Autonomy is, I hope, the future of the internet. And what I mean by that, because it's a very grandiose statement, is that it is the internet designed for AI and robotics and the intelligent layer that's now being built rapidly on top of the internet. And the reason for that is because it's a decentralized, autonomous network. It's run across millions of everyday commodity devices. So it can be a mobile telephone, it could be an old PC. I've had people reconstruct their old gaming PCs and consoles and things like that. And then you can run nodes, and you run nodes and host quantum securely encrypted data, which is essentially the server layer of the internet. So you're removing the big centralized hosts, the Amazons and the Fujitsus and those kind of guys.
We've partnered up with Autonomi today so I can share with you exactly what makes them unique. And this is a quantum secure data layer, meaning it does not compete with the Ethereums, the Solanas, the layer ones. It works with them.
What's lovely about Autonomi is you can pick whatever blockchain you want and you can still use Autonomi for storage. We actually talk to blockchains about the storage of their data. So you can think of it more where the likes of IPFS come in and where people are trying to do some of the edge compute stuff. Autonomi is really sitting almost the layer below, the sort of the blockchains, or at least in partnership with a blockchain. So it's not competing.
And while this isn't a layer one blockchain, this is a cryptocurrency. There's a token. We'll get to that. But just so everybody is on the same page, launching in 2025 and 18 years in the making, Autonomi will evolve the internet from being owned by them to being run by us. So people globally have already started running nodes. It's completely free, and you can earn cryptocurrency by using your spare capacity to run a free node. And while it's free to run in perpetuity, there is a one-time initial payment. Pay nodes once for data upload and then never pay again.
It's a one-time only payment. When you want to put data onto the network, you pay once. That payment goes to the node owners. There's no central entity anywhere. It's all autonomous. There's no human beings involved. There's no governance organization involved. It's literally you and this wonderful array of internet disks that are effectively helping you secure your private data.
And unlike the current big tech centralized entities where you have to pay monthly or just pay over and over and over again for them to store your data, the truth is, when you have to pay to access your data, it's no longer yours.
If you're developing an application, you no longer need to worry about that massive amount of infrastructure, that server layer, you might have 6 months free, or you might have credits, or you might have token, but at some point you're going to start paying for your hosting and for all of those other security things that you need. You don't need to do that with Autonomi.
This is sort of why they're the AWS killer, because you can build on Autonomi and say goodbye to server costs.
You are effectively removing the hosting costs for those developers. It's a one-time only fee. So one thing our founder, David Irvin, will always come back to is that if you're paying anybody to access your data, it's not your data anymore. It's their data, and they're giving you permission to see it and interact with it again. So that's why it's a one-time only payment. Once your data is up there, it's stored in perpetuity, forever encrypted, ready for you whenever you want it. So the difference is, as a user, you can kind of go, oh, that's nice. It's like a free upload for whatever I want. But if you think about AI applications specifically and things like that for developers, this is a really amazing way of just removing a load of their infrastructure costs.
So that's a huge value add for developers, a huge reason that developers would choose to build on Autonomi. And many of you are familiar with the team. The one person I want to highlight is David Irving, who is the founder and chief research and development officer. He is a very well-respected engineer, among other things in the space. David Irving to finally launch his decentralized internet. And as explained in this recent write-up, back in 2006, Scottish software engineer David Irving founded MadeSafe, a company that promised to create a decentralized internet layer through encryption that would protect people's universal rights to privacy, security, and self-sovereignty. This is the team that's behind Autonomi. MadeSafe are the team behind Autonomi and the core developers of its protocol. And many of you know MadeSafe. It's been around for over a decade. The network was to be known as safe, secure access for everyone, and it would be controlled by no one and owned by everyone. This has been 18 years in the making. Here's David Irving a number of years ago talking about the technology adoption.
It's an interesting technology. It's almost like inventing the first bulletproof vest. You know, once you show it works, there's not many people that's not going to run for it that may be getting shot at. So if we actually put this technology out and it shows that you don't have cyber warfare anymore, that you don't have passwords being stolen, etc., and you don't need data centers, then I think people will come to us.
And this is all part of the 18 years in the making. This will be a one-to-one exchange.
It's a one-for-one exchange, automatic. So because there's two what I call them origin tokens, because they were at the very beginning. So there's Made, which was on Omni chain. That's how old Made is. And there's eMade, obviously an ERC token. So both those token types exchange one for one.
All details are in the white paper, but Ant token will be the new token.
There will be a token. There's already a token. So we have one of the oldest tokens in market. I think Made was the 10th ever crypto coin. It's really old. And Made stands for Massive Array of Internet Disks, because developers love acronyms. That token is now effectively defunct. It's never done anything. It was part of the ICO way back in the day. I think they did the second ever ICO. And so the network will have its own token, a network token, an autonomy network token. So an ANT, for the purposes of this conversation, is what powers and incentivizes the node. So it's a one-time only payment. When you want to put data onto the network, you pay once. That payment goes to the node owners. There's no central entity.
More information on the use case of the token and how this all works in their white paper. I'll link it down below. Also, for the most recent updates, follow their Twitter. I'm following, linked below. But I can really see why developers and users, but really developers, which brings the users, would really want to use something like this instead of centralized entities like an AWS. This one's autonomous and distributed. It's quantum secure. By running a node, you help fortify the world's data against present and future security threats. And it's perpetual and safe data. Self-authentication means access to data and the ability to reassemble it into information only resides with the owner, and it will always be free for them to access and download, and is stored for the lifetime of the network.
And what basically happens is it's also duplicated. So it's fragmented, and then all those fragments are duplicated, and then they are sent out and hosted over numerous nodes. You as the data owner are the only person that has the key and the data map in order to put that data back together in any order of assemblance that makes sense. So that's why it's so secure.
Anybody that wants to start a node completely for free and start earning, just click through the website and follow the steps. As I get updates, I'll keep you updated. And like always, see you tomorrow.